Hello Places for the Past friends, may have a little bit of a bonus today. I came to a place called Dyce to look at some Pictish stones. Didn't honestly know it was in a churchyard, and I didn't know the churchyard that it was in had one of those cross of sacrifices. So this should be interesting. It certainly should have lots of war graves. That's interesting, isn't it? I'm seeing obviously quite a lot of war graves, and some against the back wall that might be interesting and unusual for war graves in the UK. Gives you a clue possibly as to who they are, if they are what I think they are. That was too many R's in that sentence, Ian. You're talking out your R's. And yeah, there are Commonwealth War graves here, like there, and round there, and along there, and round there, and over there. So let's go for a wee look. And there are some stashed away in this corner. Now I think these might be a lot of Air Force people, because Dyce Airport is just over behind me. We've seen the helicopters going in. Flying Officer Leonard, 1955, age 24. Squadron Leader Hallam, 1952. And Pilot Officer Robertson, 1951. So yeah, those are not from wartime graves, but people that died in other conflicts, maybe like Suez or things like that. I should really know more history, things like the Korean War and all the conflicts that this country's been involved in since the war to end all wars ended over 100 years ago. Yeah, ended all wars? I don't think so. Yes, they're all aviators. It must be Dyce Airport. There's Flight Lieutenant D.M. Pointer from the Royal New Zealand Air Force, 24th December 1941. And next to him, somebody from a country that we've not seen represented, but a country that was part of the mighty British Empire. This is Sergeant Farmer of Southern Rhodesia, or Zimbabwe now, I guess. Pilot, Royal Air Force, 1942. And the next chap is not actually where his stone is, but he's buried near this spot. Sergeant Kelly, Air Observer, Royal Canadian Air Force. This is all quite international, because there's a Canadian gentleman there, there's a Rhodesian friend, there's a New Zealand chap over there, and going back this way without giving you a headache, there's another Royal Canadian Air Force chap, Pilot Officer Taylor, and next to Pilot Officer Taylor, there's an Australian buried near this spot, Sergeant R.A. Milliken, again 1942, and then another Australian, and yeah, no, it's all. I wonder why their plots aren't accurately known. Maybe it's just to make the graveyard look neater. You can't have your headstone over your head because, yeah, make the place look untidy. And there's something quite unusual. Certainly the first one of these we've seen. We've never seen a Women's Auxiliary Air Force grave before. M.A. Miller, 30th of May 1943. Might be worth a wee Google to see what her story was. And Sergeant Jackson of the Canadians. And then, who's at the end? Flying Officer J.W. Thompson. He's New Zealand as well. I was looking at the badge there and my brain wasn't working, but that is the New Zealand emblem. If we keep going around the back, it's going to be, yeah, they're all obviously Air Force people. There's not a helicopter going over. I could show you where the airport is, but take my word for it, it's just over there. So here we've got Flying Officer A.R. Nivison-Smith of Australia, Royal Air Force, Sergeant Drummond, etc. I'm not going to read these all to you. I did that for a remembrance episode. What do you think? Did it work, or was it just too much of me just reading out names? The thing about reading out names is these guys are all here, and it's nice that they're remembered. And I suppose, like in ancient Egypt, as long as somebody is saying your name, then you still exist. You still have an existence. Right, and this is the bit I was heading for, and it is what I thought it was. Look, these are the graves of Germans. Now, there's no indication of units, so I couldn't tell you what the story was, if they were nautical or if they were airmen. But 1940, Werner Drexler, 1941, Fritz Reib, 1940. So they're all, again, Second World War, but lots and lots of Germans. That's really interesting. We did a wee brief episode from the island of Hoy, where there are German people from when the Grand Fleet was scuttled at the end of the First World War by a guy called Ludwig van Ruyter. I always find that fascinating. It's all lots and lots and lots of sort of Commonwealth and Allied troops, and this one corner that is all Germans, a long way from home. Flight Lieutenant Flynn, Royal Canadian Air Force. It's properly international. I wonder if there's like a flight training school here or something. There's more Australians and oh, that's interesting. I wonder, assuming that people came back here and crashed and they'd be known who they were, but that is an airman of the Second World War, known unto God, as it says down the bottom there, buried 30th December 1942. I wonder if he maybe like crashed in the sea and washed up or something. I don't know, because as far as I can see, he's the only one here that doesn't have a name. Wow, there's if you know the ranks of the Royal Air Force, Wing Commander is quite a high rank, and he was a pilot again in the Second World War, so Wing Commander. There's a joke in the services in the UK. If you're ex-services or ex-military, you'll find this amusing. The Air Force is the only armed service that says their officers out to do the fighting. I was going to say that's us, but there's a couple of stones here that are a bit different, so let's go and have a wee look at those. Now, I have no idea what nationality Alois Dvorak was. I'm guessing possibly Czech, maybe? RT Sergeant, Royal Air Force, 1941. And then along here, there's another one. Flying Officer, Royal Air Force, 1941. And then next to that, still obviously very fondly remembered, is do I give it a shot, or do I just let the fact that it's S. Snachowski, 310 Squadron, 8th December 1941. He was Polish, as you can tell from the little Polish flag. That line of German graves is so nice. Right, let's go through and have a look at the non-military part of this graveyard, although I can't promise you that's the last war grave. In fact, I know for a fact it isn't. So if we head over this way, we'll head to the start, and start from the start, and then start there, and yeah, we'll go there, work our way around, and then we'll look at the symbol stones. And just so they don't feel left out, there is somebody who is very, very much feet on the ground. That is Private J.G. Wilson, Gordon Highlanders, 24th of July 1918, so First World War. And I was trying to read the next one to it, and it said something about herd and husband. It's like, no, it says her dear husband. And then next to that, we've got another grave from 1880, Margaret Cotland at the top there, and William Wilson, mason, late of Dyce Quarry, who died 1878. There are some fairly new stones here. Overton Cottage Dyce. It's nice when you can put a place to a name. Oh, and his son Gunnar A. Littlejohn, who was killed in action 1917, aged 25. William Riddle, Alma Cottage Dyce. Dyce, in case I hadn't mentioned it, is near where we are. It's a little town. It's also an airport. This stone is erected to the memory of Catherine Ellis, spouse of Alexander Farquhar, Mains of Caskyben. That must be a Poshus, or a farm, who died 1847. There are stones on the ground that look like they are probably even older than that, but they take some reading, and it's cold, and I'm not going to. Oh, this one looks like it was quite well carved, but unfortunately the stone has delaminated, to use a technical term. It means it's come apart, basically. Oh, you know, when we get into the 1700s, we're doing well. This one, date at the end there, is 1808, so it doesn't quite make it, but it's not far off it. I like the way the moss is growing out of the stones, but yeah, so this is from 1808 up to the latest one I can see down there is 1865. Could you keep the noise down, please? I'm trying to make a video down here. It is quite mixed up in here, as it often is in a lot of these old little sort of village graveyards. There'll be plots for different families. So there is erected by Barbara Winton in memory of her husband John Ray, late farmer in Tillyfor. Oh, that's nice. Tillyfor parish of Foverin, who died in 1832. So we're still quite old. And then somebody who wanted a big obelisk, sacred to the memory of Alexander Edward, Esquire of Gilcomston, sometime solicitor in Aberdeen. I wonder what he did the rest of the time. 1861. Oh, and this one looks like it should be legible, and it should be old. John Watt, who died at Primidon, October 15th, 1819. Oh, wonder what the story here is. There's a headstone and another stone in front of it. It's like room for expansion. Neither of which are particularly legible. I've just seen something I like. Excuse me, sorry, stepping across your grave. Where is it gone? There it is there. 1770. So this is the oldest stone we've seen. This person was born AD 1725 and then died AD at a place called Milbevy in 1770. So there, right back into the 1700s. Don't know if you can see much on the. It's kind of not easy to read that. So guess what? I'm not going to try. All this stuff about how old stones are is kind of irrelevant when there's like 800 CE Pictish symbol stones in there. And continuing down towards the back corner of this really nice wee graveyard, past Elizabeth Wilson grave again, who died at Hazel Cottage, Dyce, places you could go and find. She died in 1936. And then somebody very, very grand, judging by their very, very grand stone, in memory of my beloved husband, Robert Wilkie Annan of Lochee, Dundee, born in 1864, died at Westview, Dyce in 1933. And then James Keith Murdoch, beloved second husband of Sarah M.G. Annan, or Murdoch, born 1886, died 1966. And the above, Isabella M. Gibbon, born 1888. Now I wonder if that is one woman and her two husbands buried in the same hole. That'd be cosy, eh? I've just noticed behind is another reasonably old one. So let's go and have a look at William Thompson, commercial clerk in Aberdeen, and also John Thompson, engineer in Aberdeen. And William Thompson, oh, if you're playing occupation bingo, there's quite a lot here. There's commercial clerk, engineer, and warehouseman. More old and new down this way. It's the big slabs on the ground. Once these would have been tabletop tombstones, I guess, but the legs have gone. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just it's a guess, but it's an educated guess. Died 17. Can you read that? 17 something. I'm having to stand on the stone to film this, so I better get off before I get shouted at. Some people have just shown up and are having a wee look around, and that's kind of made me talk a bit more quietly. So sorry if you can't hear me. And on the stone next to the stone that we just looked at, there is a 1772 somewhere here. 1772 in his 75th year. So yeah, we've lots of stones here going right back. That one there, I'm going to have a scan down it with the camera, and you might be able to see a date on it because I can't, quite frankly, but I'm guessing it'll say 17 something. Oh, there's an 18 something there. Might be a 1700 somewhere on that. If you can see it, let me know. Oh, there we are. Actually, I'll shut up and just point at it. 1772. Any of you are claiming to have this on your occupation bingo card, I'm going to say you're making it up. But look, erected by Alexander William Ledingham, preserved provisions manufacturer in Aberdeen in memory of his father William, who was a merchant. So preserved provisions manufacturer. That's another new. And oh, look down the bottom. That's him again. It's and also the above blah blah blah. And just in case you didn't get it first time, he is a preserved provisions manufacturer. And then it says also right in the corner there. Can you see that? Also what? Is there something on the back? Let's go for a wee look. Oh, there is. Also his nephew, William Morricle Ledingham, a manufacturer in Aberdeen. Yeah, so not enough space in the front. But you've got an also on the front, so you know to go and look at the back. Heading to the back, I guess that would be like not a mort house. I don't think this place is quite that. Oh, I was going to say things there, and I've just seen stuff that has made my tiny mind go eek. Look at that! Wow! I'm sorry, but how cool is that stone? That is, yeah. The answer to that question is, of course, extremely cool. Turn around it just a little bit. Look at that bit. There's much older stuff here than I've found. Look at that. That is amazing. And if you want to complete the set, and I'll have to turn the camera on its side for effect, if the camera will let me do that. The camera's really good at trying to keep the horizon level. It doesn't like getting turned sideways. But look at that. That's 3 absolutely amazing stones. What a cracking little ensemble, as they say. And oh, come round here, try not to fall over again, staggering about. Look at that, a skull and crossbones and digging implements, and then text that is gone and far too white trainers, and not sure what that is. Some sort of tool possibly. But look at the top. There is eagle, as the eagle, and some text that you can't read. You can just see little vestiges of it there. And on the other side, more of the same. Wow, this is so cool. How's that for a grave slab, eh? Unfortunately, as I said before, 1700s aren't as exciting when there's 700s to look at. Such a nice wee graveyard. In memory of James Scott Mason, who died at Gordon Terrace, Dyce in 1915. What's that? That's 1967, 1968. Okay, this is a bit more modern. Let's keep going along here. That's quite a big thingy for the John Alex Stuart Cameron, 1922. So we're still in the. Is that a 9 or an 8? No, it's a 1922. Shut up, Ian. Keep walking. Let's go and look at the Tom one, though, shall we? While we're here, let's. I'm sure there's one-upmanship. Find me the biggest graveyard in that yard, and then make me one that is just a little bit taller. Erected by George Tom Stonecutter. That's why he's got a nice stone, because he was a stonecutter. In memory of his children, Christina, who died 4 years 7 months, George 2 years 7 months, William 3 years and 4 months, and also of him himself and his wife. Cool. That's nice. Well, that doesn't look modern there, does it? That looks quite old. Let's see if it's. Let's see if I can find a date. If I can, I'll let you know. If not, I'll just skip on. It's in memory of. Erected by George and Mary Scott of and it's something that's I think it's Isle Cottage Dyce, in memory of their children, or memory of their daughter, sorry, Elizabeth Shawson. I was only doing this looking for a date. I wasn't really doing that much, but the date is 1884 there, if you can see that. So yeah, so 1800s for this stone, which is suffering the sort of ravages of time. Right, let's go and look at the undisputed oldest stones in the place, shall we? The symbol stones are Pictish, which is way older than anything else here, but they reckon there was a Pictish chapel here. I'll show you the symbol. I'll show you the I'll put my teeth back in. I'll show you the symbol stones as well. How's that for a deal? They are safely secreted away under a wee roof inside this lovely old chapel. So let's head over that way. These stones, as I said, are sort of 7th century, they reckon, and they've got text on them that's been translated. And when they translate it, it just comes out as a string of gibberish, because although they can translate the letters, they don't know really what the language was. It's amazing, the Picts were such a big deal in this country, and we don't really know a great deal about them. But there's a big classic Pictish Celtic cross, and some squiggles and stuff down the bottom. And then there's a smaller cross, and then there's that. Can you see anything on that? Lines, perhaps? And then across this way, that one's got, I'm not sure, yeah, you can see what I can see. It's that's got a thing, and this one I can't see at all. Until you get to here, it's got one of those Pictish beast things, well, it'll be a lion, obviously. They wouldn't have seen a lion, but not sure what animal, a wolf possibly, or something like that. And then a big pair of eyes down the bottom looking at you, or possibly boob. No, I did not say that. No, it's definitely probably eyes, or just circles. So that is the little notice board up in this place. Oh, there it is there. There's the translation of the text. And the translation is EOTTASSARRHETODDEDDOT. Yeah, they have no idea what that meant. And there's sort of thoughts that these things might have been coloured in, and if they were, they would have looked possibly a bit like that, or maybe nothing like that. But that's just somebody's impression of, yeah, you get the idea. I'm now gibbering. I think that's enough for this one wee graveyard. We're up in Dyce just now, but we're heading for home, because I was doing a Scotland on a shoestring episode, and I fell in a river. My feet are wet, and I'm quite cold, and it's definitely time to go home. Goodbye, brave airmen, and auf Wiedersehen to the Germans over there, and goodbye in Polish to the Polish gentleman, and goodbye in whatever language it was to the other two. No idea. Might have been Czech. Polish or Czech, I can't say goodbye anyway, but they'll get the idea. They'll appreciate the sentiment.